Welcome everyone to this Transformation Zoom. We get to learn about this amazing nutrition reset that can give us a new lease on life and really open up so many more possibilities as far as what can we do when we feel good? What can we do when we have access to really good, clean food? It's going to hopefully open up some possibilities that you hadn't thought of where we can often feel trapped. And we don't want to feel that way, especially in the dead of winter. We do not want to have that trapped feeling. And we want to keep our minds happy and healthy. And January is, I just went blank, Mental Wellness Awareness Month. So mental wellness, we need to keep all the organs of our body healthy, our brain being one of them. And we want to talk about how nutrition can really nourish every part of our body, which leads to really good mental health. And I'll share the information about the nutrition reset. And then the stories are going to just really inspire you, give you lots of hope as far as what's possible here. So welcome, everybody. And so what is the nutrition reset? We call it the ultimate lifestyle transformation because this is really a transformation. Are you ready to transform? And are you ready for it to be a really easy, accessible, doable, sustainable way to do it? And this isn't a diet. This is about introducing really good, healthy habits that can improve every element of our life. And so it is made up of basically 2 meal replacements and sleep support. That's really what it comes down to. But I'll break it down into what makes up those 2 meal replacements, the sleep support, and then another element of the reset. So it starts with a meal replacement called Power Shake. This is the mainstay of the transformation. And the reason being is it's so densely nutritious, but really low in calories. So it's actually made up of 6 microgreen salads. What would happen if you introduced 1 microgreen salad into your diet every single day? Your health would really improve. What if you put in 6 microgreen salads? For one thing, it'd be really expensive, right? It'd be about $14 for that. Probably $14 to $20 for 6 microgreen salads. But what if you did that twice a day now? It's just incredible to think of what plant nutrition can do for you. And that was one of my favorite things that I learned when I looked into this is I've been into vitamins and minerals and herbs my whole adult life, but I never really looked into what can plants do for me, especially those deep green plants. One thing that we learned recently is the bitters of our diet can actually help reduce cravings and addictions. Well, the Power Shake is all bitters. Doesn't taste bitter. It's delicious. But in the food category, it's in the bitter category. And so when you are taking in these greens twice a day, so you're going to replace breakfast with a Power Shake and lunch. You can also replace dinner if you need to have lunch out with friends or you're going to go have brunch. Don't worry about it. As long as you're fitting in the Power Shake as 2 of your, you could call them micro meals, right? Because they say that it's best to have like 4 to 6 micro meals a day. You can just count your Power Shake as 2 of those. And so when you're doing that, you're going to notice that your cravings just plummet. And I'm just shocked by that because I crave chocolate every single night of my life. But as long as I get those 2 green drinks in a day, that craving for chocolate isn't there. Can I get like a wave from anybody who has agreed with that and has found that to be true? So that's shocking because I mean, that just feels like a force of nature within me, but it's reversed. So all kinds of addictions can be helped with that. Now, the second thing you'll add in with your Power Shake is a gut support called Biome. And there's 3 things that Biome helps us with. It reduces the inflammation in our body. It reduces the glyphosate in our body. And it improves the microbiome as far as putting life back in. So we need these pre and probiotics in our gut in order to be healthy. We have to have life down there. Speaking of life in our gut, what are some things that take away that life in our gut? Big time is glyphosate. That's the active ingredient in Roundup, which Roundup is in the air we breathe. It's on the food we eat. Even when we eat organic, we can't get away from glyphosate. And that toxic poison has actually been connected to so many health conditions such as ALS, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Alzheimer's, autoimmune disease, and even infertility issues. So we want to get that out of our bodies and thus bring the life back into our gut. And as we're going to find out today, that our wellness in our mind is so connected to our gut, our second brain. So we want to really address our gut issues. And that's what this reset does, is not only going to help us get, shed some extra pounds and curb cravings, but we are talking about our mind here and being happy again because our gut's happy. Now, the third part of that meal replacement is our protein, and it comes in pill form. So that's unique. I'd never found that before. Protein always comes in protein shakes, right? But the reason this is in pill form is it's extremely digestible. It doesn't even have to go through all of our intestines. It's quickly taken up into our bloodstream and usable within 23 minutes of taking it. Like when we have a high protein diet, we just feel better, right? This just makes it so much easier. It's a pre-digested vegan protein. And you could literally be on kidney dialysis and still take this because protein really does a number on our kidneys. And this will not even touch your kidneys or your liver. And it was created by a doctor who actually wanted to help his coma patients build muscle while they were in a comatose state. Like that really stood out to me when I first heard about this. I could not exercise and still gain muscle. I was all for that. And so I definitely feel stronger when I'm taking it. I've been doing massage therapy for 25 years, and I call this my massage therapist in a bottle. When I take this regularly, actually, I'm due to take my other 5 pills. You'll take 5 with your first shake, 5 with your second. But when I take this consistently, I don't mind those long car rides. Sitting for hours for events doesn't bother me as much. I would usually always have to pop an Advil or an Aleve in order to get through just being still. My body hates being still. So I love the way that makes my muscles feel, and you're going to find that it helps you burn fat and build muscle just so much easier, and make your diet goals just so much more attainable because of this usable protein. The fourth element of the reset is your sleep support. This is called Apothe-Cherry, and it's a really concentrated organic tart cherry juice that is the highest naturally occurring form of melatonin. And melatonin is that hormone that helps us get into a really good sleep pattern, get into that deep, restful sleep. You can take sleeping pills to make you sleep, but do you wake up feeling refreshed when you take sleeping pills? No, it does get you asleep, but it doesn't help you have that REM sleep that's necessary for healing. And so actually on the bottle, it says anti-aging sleep support. Why is it anti-aging? Well, it's a fact that when you get at least 2 hours of deep sleep every night, so obviously we want 7 to 8 hours of sleep, but when we get 2 hours of that deep sleep, that's where the anti-aging component comes in. That's where the healing happens. And when we sleep is when we heal. So what would this reset even be if they didn't include this as part of it? All this nutrition to help our gut and heal us with all this nutrition in the plant, in the power shake, but then we weren't healing with our sleep. So they've thought of every component to really bring our health back together. And there's a fifth element to this program. It's called Super Cleanser, and you'll just put this into your 10 days in your first month and 10 days in your second month. And this is your parasite cleanse. So again, how could we be healthy? How can we get back on track with our health if we have parasites eating up our nutrition that's supposed to go to us and help us heal? So the parasites that we all have, all of us have them, they are contributing to things like brain fog, joint pain, muscle fatigue, let alone the gut disturbances. So we want to get those buggers out of us. In the first month, you'll do one phase, but then you'll do the second month, you'll do it again. And the reason being is they've left eggs behind. By the time the second month rolls around, those eggs have hatched and we need to clear them out again. So it's just nature and it's gross, but isn't it amazing that this program is designed to help us with that element too? So that's it. That's what the program is. And we're so excited for you to all start. The price breakdown is $360 for that first month. It's going to be a little less that second month. And that breaks down to $12 a day, covering 2 meals a day. So isn't that amazing? I shared this on my Instagram recently, but I went through Jimmy John's and got 2 Unwich lettuce wrap sandwiches for my daughter and I spent $20. And it was just lunch. And there was no bread there. It was just lettuce and vegetables. It was crazy. So I had to do it. It was a convenience factor. But how much more convenient can you get than putting water in your power shake in this and starting it and drinking it down? And it's super, um, did I say convenient? You can travel with it so easy. You can go on vacations with it, road trips. This fits in your cup holder. So it's just fantastic. This is so easy to do. And like I said, sustainable. Ideally, you give it 90 days. So you do month 1, month 2, and month 3. And by the end of month 3, you will be so blown away by how you feel when you stick to the program. You get this amazing lifestyle tracker that helps you track every single day of the entire program to make sure you stay successful. And so that's the key. When I looked at this, I needed to know, does this work for everyone? Because I wasn't going to get involved if it didn't work for everyone. And what I was told by someone who had helped thousands of people, I have not seen anyone who does the program the way it was designed not get fantastic results. And now I've been in it with this company for a year, and I would agree. I haven't seen, it's like when you do the program the way it's designed, just like I outlined, you cannot escape the results. You can't run from them. And so aren't you excited to see what will happen for you and for the ones that you love? So you can actually share this with other people. And so this will be a replay that you can actually send out to your friends and family if you want to give them a reason for hope. I think that there was maybe a few things I forgot. Let me think. The price, and you can mix the power shake just with water and go. You can also throw in like some almond butter, a date. You could make it savory. You could make it really, really yummy with a bunch of fruit or some raw cacao, all sorts of possibilities. And there's lots of ideas that the person who is sharing this video with you or invited you tonight will help you with some recipes. So let's talk about what this program has done for people. Could I get a raise of hand of those who would like to share what's happened for them? And again, we're focusing on really all health, but we want to talk about mental wellness. Alison, you're the first hand I see. Do you want to go ahead?
Sorry. Thank you so much. I started this program almost 6 years ago. It was October of 2018. And I started it for mental health. I had been researching a lot about the gut-brain connection, and I was medicated for depression, anxiety, sleep disorder, ADD. I was put on medications from a really young age, actually. And then one medication always led to another. And when I got pregnant, it was when I wanted to get off my medications. And I realized how dependent I was on them emotionally and physically. And I tried to get off of them. I did get off of them. I managed to get off of my medications through pregnancy. But then after pregnancy, was diagnosed with postpartum, very severe postpartum depression, and was diagnosed with bipolar 2. And they put me on even stronger medications after my pregnancies. So around that time, I was nursing, and I needed to get off. They kept saying it was safe, but my intuition told me that this is not okay. And so I started researching, and everything led to gut health. And it wasn't, well, I was doing everything right. What I thought I was doing everything right, because I was, researching, and I was doing all kinds of different protocols for gut repair and, following. There's so much information out there. So when you start going down the rabbit hole, you could I was doing juice cleansing and all these different things. And, it led me to this program. And it was actually this woman who I was following on social media, who she had been following me. And she said, I really think what you're looking for, because she had been following me, trying all different kinds of experiments. And she said, you really need to do a gut repair. And she asked me, do you know about glyphosate? And I didn't know about glyphosate. I didn't even know what that word was. And so I said no. And I was a little hesitant, because I was like, what is this? I don't know, what is she trying to sell me something? And I started to research glyphosate. And it turns out it's a really big problem. And it's a really, really, the research is out there that how it affects the gut and how prevalent it is in all of our food, especially our kids' food. So I went and called that. Well, I went and contacted her again, and I said, "I'm researching all of this about glyphosate. You're not making this word up, okay? I see this." And I said, "I'm interested in this glyphosate detox that she was talking about." And what I really loved about it was really simple. It was easy because I was juicing, I was doing all these complicated things. And as a mom, I was really busy and I was working as well. It was really like what I loved was it was all the ingredients I had already been researching and speaking my language because I was already, I was already looking into health stuff, and it was just everything was organic, everything was food. And it just really excited me that everything came in one package of all the different things I had been doing. And then it also had this extra component of glyphosate detox. So yeah, actually starting in the end of October, by February, which is the darkest, I'm in Canada, in Montreal, it's like really cold and dark. By February, I actually got off of all 5 of my medications. And so that was a huge, I just, I didn't even have to think about it. It was just gradual. And then one day I was just like, I just knew I just didn't need them anymore. I felt so in control of my mind. And one of the first benefits that I felt doing this program was the clarity, because I was addicted to the sleeping pills. That's another thing. I got off sleeping pills because of the tart cherry juice. And so I was always in a state of fogginess, and just that clarity of having that really good night's sleep where I forgot to take my sleeping pills because I had my tart cherry, and waking up and not needing the coffee all day and just feeling so in control. And I just love the structure it gave me. I love the support around it. We have so much amazing support. So it was just, yeah, I'm still doing it, still almost 6 years, and helping thousands of people now with it. Thank you.
Allison, we love you. Thank you so much. That means so much to us that you got to share tonight. Thank you. Gives us so much hope to think of all those medications. And so there's no claims of cures or healing, and we would never encourage you just to jump off your meds. And Allison's testimonial just tells us the power of the body to recover from some of these things. And it's your body that's the miracle. So that's what we really want to stress. This isn't the products are not a miracle, but when you put the products together with the miracle of your body, it is really amazing. So thank you for sharing with us the power of the brain to recover from some of these things, Allison. We love you. Thank you. Next, let's go to Nicole Rice. Could you share with us, Nicole, what's happened for you in these last just few months?
Sure, yeah, thank you. I have to write it down or else I can get really lost in everything. But 20 years ago, I got Lyme, and that pretty much changed my life forever. And that led to years of like deep depression, anxiety, insomnia, fatigue, pain. It's still like even traumatic to talk about almost for me. So fast forward, it was very stressful. A couple of years ago, we moved up to a new place, and it kind of catapulted me into this new stage of very severe, and when I say severe, I mean very severe depression, anxiety, insomnia. And also had mold exposure. So I had a chronic cough. I mean, I was just not in a good place. And like was said before, that I've tried everything. There was basically not a thing I could probably eat. I was just eating, very minimalist diet, organic, juice cleanses. I'd done master cleanses for 10 years because I knew it was connected to my gut, but I could not find the right thing. And I just couldn't fix it. I couldn't therapy my way through it. I couldn't acupuncture my way, nothing worked. And so I saw my friend post that what she was doing, and she kept looking healthier and healthier. So I asked her about it, and ended up eventually starting it because I figured, well, I have nothing else left to lose. I'll try one more thing. And she sent me a video, a recording. So there was something in the recording that there were some key phrases, things that people said, and they were like clinchers for me, like, okay, this is a company with integrity, and these are trustworthy people. There was a couple things that really stood out to me. So then I went ahead and tried it. Well, 2 weeks in, I noticed that my nails were strong and hard, and they had been chipping and flaking and horrible nails for the longest time. So that was my first sign that I was absorbing what I was taking. And that was huge for me. And then I think it was like a couple weeks later, I just woke up with like a light in my head, like a will to live. That was huge because I was like, I don't think I've had that since I was 17 or 18. And I was like, I'm back. It was just like this wonderful feeling, like, I don't know, Mrs. Hannigan saying, "Do I hear happiness in here?" And I'm like, "Yes, you do." And then the energy just kept coming, and I could do things around the house where I usually had to schedule out just cleaning the house and space it out over 3 or 4 days. And now I can do it in a couple hours. Huge things for me. Um, and falling asleep. I always knew when I got gluten, I no longer think it's a gluten intolerance. I think it's a glyphosate intolerance because I would get gluten and then I would immediately get anxiety and I would immediately get racing thoughts and then I would not go to sleep and I'd be up the entire night. So I don't do that anymore. I was on anti-anxiety meds. I'm not on those anymore. I had to do that just to knock myself to go to sleep. So those are huge all for me. But one of my biggest things right now is that because I've been consistently good, it's taken my family out of this fight or flight mode around me, that they don't have to be constantly worried and scared. And so now they can focus on their trauma from me. Yay. But I'm glad that they can focus on fixing themselves and I can help them now. But everybody is just taken down a notch, from anxiety just because mom is feeling better. And so I am going to stay on this. I'm extremely grateful. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Nicole. Isn't that true that when mama's feeling good, the whole family feels good and vice versa? So healing the Rice family, one layer at a time. So we're so happy for you, Nicole. We love you. And I know it's been ups and downs, even as you started, but I love that you said, is there happiness? Yes, depression is often just a lack of feeling, right? It's a numbness. It isn't like you're walking around crying all the time. It's just, it's a no feeling. And pretty amazing to just be in the middle of the day going, I feel happiness coming up out of me. Literally feels like it's coming from my gut, like it's coming up and feeding my brain happiness. And I know a lot of you understand that feeling too. So thank you for sharing, Nicole. We'll never tire of hearing your story. I don't see Klas's hand, but Klas, could you unmute yourself and come on and share with us what's happened for you? I don't see your hand, but I know
Hi.
you're okay. Go ahead. Hi, Klas.
Hey, how are you, Tara?
Good. Welcome. Thank you for coming on and sharing with us. It's been a while since I've heard your story. So
Yeah, no, it's nice to be here. I totally mixed up the time. I thought it was 6:30 PST instead of 5:30, but thank you for the text. So briefly here, let me just set my timer because I can be a talker, gift of the gab. So I'm just going to make sure I don't go over here. So very briefly, I'd say in my life, probably the biggest health issue, like we're talking about now, and is mental health. And I've probably noticed it since I was about 12, 13, when things kind of started shifting, where you almost have those out of body experiences where you see yourself emotionally reacting to things that don't make sense, like having a perfectly good day and all of a sudden you're sad or you're mad or you have no feeling at all to something that should trigger an emotion. And that weird feeling was very, what's the right word? Not scary, but very confusing. And anyway, it just got worse and worse over time. And my background is of a culture that doesn't really take any kind of health problem that isn't physical too seriously. And so I didn't even know what to do with it, or didn't even know there was something to do with it. But anyway, things did not get better. A few episodes later, and as you know, every episode, things not only get worse for your depression, whatever form it has, but it also can get longer. And once you get to a certain point, it just becomes a form that you can't actually really get back from entirely. But so I didn't have much hope. But it was interesting. A couple of years ago, 2018 winter, I ended up in a hospital in Calgary in the psych ward because my parents got so concerned about me and my health and what was happening. So my parents and a few friends of mine took me there, and I ended up being there for a month and found out that my form of depression is bipolar type B or type 2, depending on which doctor you talk to, which is like a sleeper version of the bipolars. Sleeper in the sense that it's hard to notice because usually it's somebody that's very upbeat. They get a lot done. They're busy. They don't seem like the kind to have it. And so it's less detectable. So the doctor's telling me all these things that make sense. And I was like, how am I going to deal with this? And anyway, I got lots of medications, which did all kinds of stuff. Some good. I don't want to say medications aren't bad. They are like glasses, a crutch, hearing aid. They do have their benefits. They don't fix the problem. Band-aid therapy, I think is what they call it. And so very briefly, when I started with Biome, it was actually Melissa Hansen. I saw her posts on her IG account, and I just thought, okay, I should check into this. But it was like over a year, I think almost 2, until I finally did something. But within the week, my sleep, especially the Apothe-Cherry, it was magnificent. I could sleep and wake up in the morning and not just want to stay there. I actually want to get up. The shakes and the rest of the products had such a great effect that I was able to get off of 3 products that I was on, 3 drugs that I was on, intense ones, within just under 6 months for the 3rd one. I'm still on the 4th one because I made the mistake of getting too busy in life and not keeping up with taking my medications, my supplements, Biome, and got myself in a bad situation again. So hopefully I'll get back on, and I have now spoken too long, but I just want to encourage anyone who's thinking about joining in the Biome experience. It's not a miracle. It takes work. It takes its time to have its effect. So be patient with it, but realize that whatever effect it will have, it will be a bonus, not a negative. And any negative side effects are just your body cleaning itself. It'll take some time, but it will work.
Thank you, Klas. That means a lot to us. And thank you for being so transparent with us about it's not easy to talk about mental health, but we need to. We've got to talk about it in order to help each other. And pretty amazing to think that your body knows how to heal itself. And what your story made me think of was with my own, that your body starts becoming your enemy after a while. Like you don't like what your brain is doing to you. You don't like what your body's doing to you. And you are like a victim being just carried along by its whims. But this is empowering. So when you say it's work, yep, it's work, but it's so empowering to think that now by decisions that we make, we can feel better and we can be the best versions of ourselves. So thank you. And you demonstrated that beautifully, Klas. Thank you. And we have time for one more. Annette, could you unmute and just briefly share with us kind of where you were? And we don't really have time, but I'm going to take one more if you're still up for it, Annette. Could you share with us what's happened for you in the year that you've been on Biome now?
Yeah, it's not quite a year, but I never even really considered that I was necessarily depressed or even had negative thinking, but things have changed so much since I've been on the nutrition reset. And a couple times it's really stood out for me. And just last night was one of them. We had a graduation party, and I went. And so often when I've gone to gatherings, I've always felt like just not comfortable, probably sat in a corner, waited for people to come talk to me, or else I just didn't talk to anybody. And if there was things to participate in, I didn't usually. And so last night, I just kept thinking, this is really so different, having a whole different mental attitude, because I wasn't sitting down at all hardly. And that might have something to do with having no pain in my legs and things too. But and even volunteered to play some of the participation games and whatnot. And it's just, you just feel so much happier because I used to leave gatherings just feeling kind of sad and like just wasn't right or whatever. And now it's just so much more enjoyable, and it just made a big difference.
Yeah, that's really evidence, right? Like it isn't something that you could make up. You can look at it and other people can see. Annette's walking around talking to people, being social. We don't have to be that girl in the corner or the one that goes and finds the cat in the room. That was always me. So yeah, very relatable, Annette. Thank you so much. We're really glad that you all got to share, and we could go on. That's the amazing thing, is probably everybody on here has a story on how their mind feels better. If you've never been diagnosed with a mental health condition, you no doubt have a measure of anxiety, you have some unhappy feelings, you have for sure brain fog. And to hear that in a constant in all these testimonials is so encouraging. So we just hope this has left you with a little hope, some more options. Share this replay with everyone you can. We want to instill that hope in everyone. And the only regret you'll have is that you didn't start sooner. You'll get started and you'll have wonderful support from the person who introduced you to it. There's a Facebook support group you can hop on to learn more about testimonials and conditions that can get improved with this nutrition, and ask all the questions that you can. That's the thing, is ask the questions, put it to the test. There's no question too big or too scary. So thank you for everyone who attended.